So you want to see your six pack, but you're wondering how long it's going to take. How long did it take for me to go from looking like this to looking like this? It's actually not a bad question. This is something I've changed my mind on over the years. I don't love expectations because the problem is if it doesn't go as well as you expect, which let's be honest, it almost never does, it can get you down and lead you off plan, and possibly you never even get there because you give up because it's taking too long. But the problem with having no clue how long it could take is there's no urgency behind it. One of my favorite quotes is action requires urgency, results require patience. So by getting a rough idea of how long it could take, at least you're more likely to take action. Just don't get married to how long you think it should take, because I promise you, as long as you do see your six pack, you won't look back and go, wasn't worth it, took too long. Agreed? Okay, let's talk about how long you should expect it to take. First, understand there's always individuality here. Some people can see abs at much higher body fat levels than others. Things like genetics, how long you've trained and built your abs, all matter. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna say you need to get to about 12% body fat to see your abs. If you happen to see it sooner, great. And by the way, if you're female, this stuff will still work for you, but instead of using 12%, you're gonna wanna use maybe around 18%. But again, this varies significantly. Okay, so getting into how to do the math, and you may want to pause this video and grab a pen and paper. I've actually done videos in the past simplifying things, and someone always gets mad and says, that's not how you do it, that's not accurate, you lose some muscle. So you know what, this video is for you. Then I'm going to do this as accurately as possible, but it is kind of complex. So the first thing you need to figure out is your current lean body mass, and that's everything in the body that's not body fat. Just estimate it. You don't need to go out and get DEXA scans or anything. It's just going to get you in the ballpark. So to figure out your lean body mass, you take your current weight times your lean body mass percentage. So the example we're going to use today, we're going to take a 200-pound male sitting at 20% body fat. So 200 times 0.8 would be 160 pounds of lean body mass. Now, one thing many don't factor in is you're probably going to lose a little bit of lean body mass while you're dieting. This is normal. Don't worry, you're not going to notice it. In fact, you're just going to look more jacked because you're stripping away that body fat. But yes, you will probably lose a bit of lean body mass. We want to do everything we can to keep as much as possible. But let's just say you're going to lose around 2% of your lean body mass when you go through this dieting period. So now what you do is take your current lean body mass times that by 0.98. So in the case of our 200-pound person with 160 pounds of lean body mass, we're gonna round and just say at the end of your diet, you're gonna have 157 pounds of lean body mass. Okay, so now you know what your lean body mass will be at the end of your diet. Now you can use that to figure out what you would weigh to be 12% body fat and see those abs. Stick with me here. So what you wanna do now is take your future lean body mass and divide that by 0.88. Why 0.88? Because 100 minus 0.12, your 12% body fat, is 0.88. So in this case, 157 pounds of lean body mass divided by 0.88 brings you to 178 pounds and some change. We're gonna round to 178, which is what this person would weigh when they get to 12% body fat and hopefully see some nice abs. Which, by the way, back in 2015, I did go from 210 pounds down to 178 pounds. As you can see, pretty good definition in the abs. So now that you have these numbers, you know how much weight you have to lose. So in this case, 200 pounds minus 178 pounds equals 22 pounds that need to be lost. Okay, so now that you figured out how much weight you have to lose, now you can figure out how long it's gonna take. But remember, you wanna do everything you can to keep as much muscle as possible. And research has shown you don't wanna lose more than about 1% of your weight on average per week. And if you're losing a bunch of muscle, you're not gonna have that good shredded look when you get leaner. But just because 1% is the max you wanna lose, that doesn't mean you should expect to lose that much. In fact, I usually say to aim for between about 0.5 to 1% of your weight on average per week. So for our 200-pound individual, that'd be between 1 and 2 pounds per week as an average. Keep in mind, as you lose weight, 1% of your weight is going to be a little bit less over time. But for me personally, I like to stay towards the lower end, and that just keeps me feeling better. I get to enjoy more food. My performance is going to be better, more likely to keep more muscle. And I just find the process tends to go much smoother. But what we'll do for this video to figure it out is we'll kind of split the difference a little bit. And I'm going to say you're going to average losing 0.7% of your weight per week. So now what you can do is take your starting weight and you're going to times that by 0.7%, so that's 0.007. So in the case of our 200-pound guy, 200 times 0.007 is 1.4 pounds. 22 pounds divided by 1.4 pounds per week equals about 16 weeks to get to 12% body fat. But it's not necessarily that simple. Keep in mind, I do recommend taking some diet breaks along the way. Life can happen and throw some monkey wrenches into things. It usually just doesn't go that smoothly. So give yourself some wiggle room. I would add another maybe 4 4 to 8 weeks on top of that. Again, don't get tied to this time frame. Don't feel like something is wrong if it's taking longer. It's just to give you a ballpark idea, so just stay patient. Now, with all that being said, there's a couple other things you may be wondering about. One, I mentioned how I'm often able to see my six-pack decently even at higher levels of body fat, and how training can impact into that. So if you're wondering how that factors in, check out this video up here. Otherwise, if you want to know more about how to create the calorie deficit to lose at this pace I'm mentioning, then check out this video instead. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you in one of those other videos.